So, I hear you all want more superhero stuff from this channel. And by that I mean I put out a poll asking people what they want more of on this channel, and about 50% of the responses were more superhero drawings. And I am very happy to oblige because I love drawing superheroes. And most specifically, I love drawing Spider-Man. I mean, and Venom too, but you know, talking about Spider-Man. And we're gonna draw Spider-Man in this episode. And we are going to draw him once. But we are going to draw him once with 10 different costumes on. I'm gonna pick what I think are the 10 coolest Spider-Man costumes, then I'm gonna draw a rough version of a single Spidey, slice it up into 10 segments, and draw a different costume in each segment. How's it gonna turn out? I don't know. I'm guessing pretty cool, but let's see what happens. Let's jump into the thumbnail sketches. Now for the rough stage, I was trying to go a little bit more nuts than I usually go.
Now you wanna get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
I was trying to be a bunch more expressive. I was really trying to channel my inner Humberto Ramos kind of style, and I've mentioned him before on the channel. I've got his poster right up here on my wall, and I love his artwork, and it's very expressive and exaggerated, and sometimes the limbs are a bit longer than they should be, but in an on-purpose kind of way, and it's just so cool, and I think it's the perfect kind of way to draw Spider-Man with his elasticy limbs, and he's very bendy, and so I try a bunch of different shapes that I really like, but the one I end up going with is, it might actually be the least dynamic of the ones that I rough out, but I just really wanted to be able to show off more parts of the costume, and this rough drawing was a bunch more spread out. I really like that second rough drawing I did, where he's a little bit more tucked in together and he's about to shoot a web and his arm is bent a bit, but I didn't feel like it was gonna get to show off enough of his costume, and this video is all about drawing a bunch of different costumes on the one character, so I felt like we kind of needed that. So anyway, this is the rough that I ended up going with, and then I just end up doing a bit of basic character structure. I didn't want to get into the costume details at all yet because I hadn't decided which costume's going where, so I basically just drew the basic muscle shapes and the eyes, because the eyes are pretty similar on most Spider-Man costumes in terms of the general shape. Alright, that works for me. Now we gotta decide what our 10 costumes are gonna be. And I've got in my head what I think are the 10 coolest, and I'm gonna rattle them off right now, or at least I'm gonna try to remember all of them. So we've got Classic, PS4, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, Superior Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, Ben Reilly, Iron Spider from Infinity War, just cut to the drawing, I'll tell you in the voiceover. So the 10 suits I ended up going with were Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, PS4 Spider-Man, Classic Spider-Man, Superior, 2099 White, 2099, Ben Reilly, and Iron Spider from Infinity War. I had wanted the symbiote suit in there, but it's a bit too simple looking, so if I didn't put it right in the center, you wouldn't have been able to tell what it was, because a lot of it is just large sections of black or really dark purple. And Spider-Man has a surprising number of suits that already are just a really dark black or really dark blue. Like we've got Spider-Man Noir besides the symbiote suit, we've got Superior Spider-Man, Miles Morales, even the 2099 suit, though it's a blue, it's a pretty dark blue. So I tried to minimize the amount of suits that were kind of just large sections of black. So I just had to scrap the symbiote suit to keep some of the ones I liked better, because I really like the Superior Spider-Man suit, so I wanted that in there. I really like Miles Morales. I really like Spider-Man Noir. And then, so the next part of this that was really surprisingly difficult was deciding which costume was gonna go where, because different costumes are only recognizable in some parts of the suit. I think the one that ends up being the worst in this drawing is you can't really tell that the Iron Spider suit is the 10th one at the end, because all you get out of it is a little bit of his finger and his foot, so it kind of just looks like it could be any Spider-Man suit, because those parts of that suit aren't particularly distinct besides being a bit shinier than your average Spider-Man suit. But besides that, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. You can pretty well tell that it's a bunch of Spider-Man suits all chopped together, and it does end up looking pretty cool. But the most important thing in the planning stage was for me to really just alternate between the vibrant bright suits and the dark suits, so that we wouldn't have any sections that were right next to each other way too similar. Like, I couldn't have put Miles Morales and Superior Spider-Man right next to each other because they are both large sections of black. Now, one thing I wasn't sure I was going to do when I got into the inks was if I was going to actually draw distinct lines between each of the suits, or if I was going to try and blend elements from one suit into the next. I do end up drawing lines between them, and I think that works well. I make them pretty thin so they're not too obvious and emphasized, and I try to let the colors do most of the separating, and overall I'm really happy with how I ended up doing the inks for this one. I go more detailed with the inking on this one than I go with a lot of my other drawings I've done lately. It's not my most detailed inks, but it is more than usual because this is a single drawing. That's the whole point of this video, whereas a lot of times I try to do a bunch of drawings in a video. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really have too much else to say about the inks. I liked how it turned out. It was a bit of a challenge, as most of this video was, but all in all, I think it just ends up looking pretty cool. So, I don't know, should I just pump up the music a little bit and speed through this? Yeah, I guess let's do that. That seriously took way more brain power than I thought it would. Just keeping the different segments split up and remembering which part was... Anyway, we got through the inking stage, and now the coloring should be a bit easier. And this is where I think this piece is gonna really come together. So let's dive into the colors. Now this is where it starts getting really cool looking. Like, I liked it before, but once I start getting the colors in there, it reminds me of one of those, like, you know when you see someone on YouTube make one of those cakes that's a bunch of different rainbow colors on the inside, like layered in different rainbow colors? That's kind of what this looks like, except it's all Spider-Man stuff, so it looks super cool. The one thing that I thought about ahead of time is a lot of times I do a gradient for my colors, but because it was gonna be complicated trying to do gradients of parts of bodies and then different, just like the separation made everything a bit more difficult. So what I decided to do was make a selection of the whole suit and then make one gradient from white to gray, like a medium gray, going from around the center, head, chest kind of area, out towards the limbs, and overlay that as a multiply layer over everything else, so that could kind of be a gradient for the entire piece at once. It doesn't end up being as dramatic a gradient as I often do, or often like, but I don't end up minding that, because it actually ends up making the piece a bit more cartoony than usual, which I'm totally for with a Spider-Man piece, especially since I was going with a kind of Humberto Ramos look. And of course I was a bit inspired by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I just watched again last week, and it is... that movie's so good. So I end up on this piece, once I get later into the rendering stage, I end up putting those halftone dots in, and as always, that just makes the piece look a bunch better and much more comic booky. I think of this piece, my favorite part ends up being the Miles Morales suit, just because his spider emblem from Into the Spider-Verse is so cool looking, the like sort of graffitied one. I almost wish I'd made it look a little bit more graffitied onto the suit. I kind of put an outline on it that makes it look a little bit more, I don't know, like it's stitched in, not so much spray painted on, but it's still just such a cool looking Spider-Man emblem. It's probably my favorite emblem of all the suits. Anyway, let's get down to the end and take a look at the final version of our Spider-Man with 10 Spider-Man suits. Alright, I think we done the web swinger proud. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this, please leave a like and a comment, and if you'll allow me to get a little YouTuber-y for a second, if you really like this video and want to see another video like this of another superhero split up into 10 different versions of their costume, like this video. If it gets to 250 likes, I'll do this again with another hero that will be decided on whatever's most liked in the comments, so you know, Batman or Captain America, Iron Man, whatever you all like. Let me know in the comments. Sorry for like grubbing, but apparently it can really help the channel grow, so leave a like if you like this. Anyway, everyone, sorry that there's only one drawing in this Monday episode. I know usually there's a lot of drawings in Monday episodes, but gonna have a bigger episode on Wednesday because it's gonna be the 5,000 subscribers celebration episode. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed. Gonna be a bigger thank you kind of episode on Wednesday, but I'll save spoilers for that episode. Be sure to come back Wednesday. Alright, thanks so much for watching Popcross Studios. I'm Christian Pearson, and I will see you in a couple days.